All right, guys. Hello. Where we left off, I had just drawn the lovely Ophelia, and I sort of paused to give myself a break from drawing, and Ophelia was with her father, Polonius, who is the king's chief counselor. So, Polonius, I'm going to draw here. And he's going to have spiky hair. Short buzz kind of hair. Okay? Alright, here's Polonius. And he is the father of Ophelia. Polonius. Okay. Then we've got Laertes, who is going back to France. So Laertes, he is going to look similar to his father, but he'll have a hipper hairstyle since he's younger. Okay? There. So, I've sort of thought about, at least for this play, how I'm going to indicate like who's connected to whom here. Now I've got a red heart, which sort of stands for romantic love, and we're assuming they're in romantic love. I don't yet know what the situation is here. We're going to do a green heart for sort of family love, so family members. So Laertes is the son of Polonius, and Ophelia is the daughter of Polonius. So that's why I'm drawing green hearts, because that's family love there. I'm going to do family love for Hamlet and Queen Gertrude. And then there's sort of extended family love between Hamlet and King Claudius, right? Except it's not really love. I think he's starting not really to trust his uncle, so I'm just sort of drawing a green line, no heart, because I don't think he trusts his uncle very much. And then we've got friend love. So friend love, I'm going to do pink. Or maybe you guys will think pink, friend love, blue. How about that? So Hamlet and Horatio have got their friends. Okay, so those are the relationships so far. We can love our friends. It's not the same as romantic love. All right. So in another part of the castle, there's Lady Ophelia and Polonius, and they're saying bye to Laertes. And Polonius has some advice. Give every man thy ear, but few thy tongue, Polonius told Laertes. Neither a borrower nor a lender be, and this above all, to thine own self be true, my blessing with thee. His son dispatched, Polonius turned a critical eye on Ophelia. What is between you and the Prince Hamlet? He demanded. Ophelia blushed. We're going to give her some blush. Maybe she's got her own heart eyes. She and Hamlet had grown up together, and she had loved him for as long as she could remember. He hath, my lord, of late made many tenders of his affection to me. Hello, Pippa. So, you guys should see this. Pippa has found something interesting in this book. I'm not sure if there's a silverfish in here or what it is. She's making it hard for me to read. Miss Pip, what are you doing? Okay, so anyway, if I seem distracted, it's because there's a cat playing with my book. She's rubbing her face on it. Cats do that to sort of put their scent on things. Okay, so, hey, stop it. Now she's clawing at the rug. Okay, all right, sorry about that. Oh, my camera almost fell. Okay, there we go. All right. So, Polonius is asking, he sees some sort of connection between Ophelia and Hamlet. Affection? Pooh, you speak like an immature girl. Polonius frowned. Didn't Ophelia realize that a prince could not marry for love? He must marry a princess, not a commoner like Ophelia. I would not, Polonius pronounced, from this time forth have you spend any moment's leisure as to talk with Hamlet. Ophelia loved Hamlet desperately, but she dared not defy her father. She blinked back tears. I shall obey, my lord. From then on, Ophelia spoke not a word to Hamlet. With great regret, she returned his letters unopened. She sometimes heard whispering in the palace about the prince, tales of strange conduct and nonsensical speeches, but she could not appear to be too interested, nor could she allow herself to get close enough to observe him. One day, while Ophelia was sewing in her room, Hamlet burst in. His face was as pale as his shirt, and she thought he looked as if he had escaped from hell. He grabbed her by the wrists and wordlessly searched her face for a long minute. Then he backed out of the room, his sorrowful eyes never leaving hers. Terrified, Ophelia ran to her father and told him all. Polonius stroked his long white beard. Have you given him any hard words of late? So, now we know Polonius has a long white beard, which probably means his hair isn't really brown, it's probably gray-ish. So now we're going to give him a beard. It'll be a little tricky. So, we're adding, that's a beard that he's got. Okay? Ophelia shook her head. As you did command, I repelled his letters, his meaning Hamlet, and denied his access to me. That hath made him mad, Polonius declared. Surely this is the very ecstasy of love. Puffed up with self-importance, Polonius carried Ophelia's story to Claudius and Gertrude, for the king and the queen were anxious to know the cause of Hamlet's strange behavior. Now, they use the word mad. In this case, mad doesn't mean angry. You remember that it says she sometimes heard whispering in the palace about the prince, tales of strange conduct and nonsensical speeches. So mad in this case doesn't mean angry, it means like crazy. So by Ophelia not talking to Hamlet, he's sort of losing his mind. So that's what Polonius is saying has happened. And he wants to go tell Queen Gertrude and King Claudius that this is the reason why. With the royal couple's permission, Polonius set a trap to determine if Hamlet's mad behavior sprang from love denied. He commanded Ophelia to sit reading in a gallery where Hamlet often wandered. Polonius and the king stood within earshot, hidden behind a tapestry wall hanging. Hamlet soon entered the far end of the gallery. Thinking himself alone, he reflected aloud on life's injustices, which are things that were not fair. To be or not to be, that is the question. whether 'tis nobler in the mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take arms against a sea of troubles, and by opposing end them. This was the painful heart of Hamlet's dilemma. Perhaps it would be better just to die himself. To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. For in that sleep of death what dreams may come. Aye, there's the rub. But that dread of something after death puzzles the will, and makes us rather bear those ills we have, than fly to others that we know not of. So that is really saying, so what could be worse is the thing maybe he doesn't know. Hamlet became so tangled up in his own philosophizing, I think that's right, philosophizing, yes, that he no longer knew which thoughts applied to himself. So basically he's overthinking. His confusion clouded his plans. Someone entered the gallery. Hamlet saw that it was Ophelia. He was stunned and delighted. In his recent display of madness, he had paced the entire castle 12 times a day, but never once had he seen her outside her private chamber. Hamlet quickened his steps. So now we're kind of testing Polonius's theory. And you guys can see that Hamlet is feeling a certain way about seeing Ophelia, which is excited. So let's see. Ophelia's eyes flicked involuntarily to one side. Hamlet spied 2 pairs of polished boots beneath a wall hanging. His heart sank. It was bad enough that Ophelia had been refusing his letters. Was she now helping the king spy on him? Hamlet fixed her with a cold stare. "Where's your father?" "At home, my lord," Ophelia stammered. "Let the doors be shut upon him," Hamlet shouted, "that he may play the fool nowhere but in his own house." Leaning close, he added, "Get thee to a nunnery. If thou wilt marry, marry a fool, for wise men know well enough how you betray them." So Hamlet thinks that Polonius, remember Polonius is the assistant to King Claudius. So actually, I mean, it's not like they're necessarily friends, because I don't think it's by choice, it's sort of by job, but I am going to put a blue heart in between them because they are sort of connected that way. And Hamlet doesn't really like that, so he thinks that Ophelia has been sent by Polonius, which really means King Claudius. So, with one more look at the wall hanging, he bid Ophelia farewell and ran from the room. Ophelia was frightened by the prince's mad outburst. She dissolved into tears. "Oh, what a noble mind is here overthrown," she wept. "Woe to me to have seen what I have seen, see what I see." Claudius emerged, shaking his head. "Love, his emotions do not that way tend. There's something in his soul o'er which he broods." Later that day, a troupe of traveling actors arrived to perform for the Danish royal court. Hamlet greeted them eagerly, happy to spend an hour thinking about something other than his father's murder. After the players retired for the night, Hamlet's thoughts returned to revenge, so he was distracted for a little while. But then he's getting sort of obsessive thinking about this, right? So right away he's thinking about how he can get back at Claudius. But once again, confusion reigned in the prince's mind, and he had second thoughts. "The ghost that I have seen may be the devil in a pleasing shape," he considered. "I'll have proof more convincing than its words. I have heard the guilty creatures sitting at a play have been struck so to the soul that they have proclaimed their crimes. I'll have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. If he but flinch, I know my course." Hamlet smiled. "The play's the thing wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king." The prince rushed off to find the actors and instruct them as to what play he wanted them to perform. So, Hamlet's idea now is to get a group of actors together, and they're going to enact a scene that he thinks represents what really happened to his dad. And he thinks that if Claudius is watching, sometimes when you're watching something and you sort of connect with it, you act differently. So he's going to make Claudius watch this thing to see if he reacts. And if he reacts, then Hamlet's going to assume that he is guilty. So we're going to pause there.